You're sitting in a packed university auditorium. The speaker, Dr. Gad Saad, just drops a bomb. There's a war happening inside our minds against truth itself. Around you, attention thick as fog, students nod nervously, professors fidget. Political correctness isn't just polite speech anymore, it's a parasite eating away at free thought. But what exactly are these idea pathogens, and how do they hijack the way you think? This mind battle starts now. Let's peek inside the breeding grounds of these mind parasites, universities. They don't just sneak in, they're incubated like viruses, spreading silently through campuses worldwide. Gad Saad, an evolutionary behavioral scientist, spots it clearly. Certain bad ideas spread like biological parasites. In 2019 at Concordia University in Montreal, he witnessed calls to censor a comedy show not for content but for perceived ideological imperfection. This, Saad argues, is no accident. Its evolutionary ideas survive not because they're true, but because they hijack our mental defenses. Think of political correctness as a weak immune system. Normally, your brain filters ideas, rejecting harmful nonsense. But political correctness acts like a virus, disabling that defense. It rules with emotional blackmail and fear of social exile, not logic. You're no longer fighting facts, you're fighting the terror of being ostracized, like a person wearing a mask to hide a contagious infection. The first step to defeating parasites is admitting you're infected. Gad Saad urges mental self-awareness. Recognize when your reasoning is being manipulated by fallacies disguised as morality. This diagnosis opens the way for treatment, questioning, empirical thinking, pushing back against emotional censorship, and eventually reclaiming your freedom to think. Next, Gad Saad zooms in on the sharp weapons these parasites wield. Logical fallacies aren't just errors, they're emotional traps designed to hijack your brain. Saad recalls a battle at McGill, a debate intended for rational discussion derailed as opponents shouted racist and sexist. The crowd got swept away not by facts but emotional outrage. This is the appeal to emotion, a tool turning reason into a hostage, where feelings drown out truth and silence dissent like a mob chasing away sunshine. Imagine a magician's sleight of hand. Straw man fallacies erect fake opponents and knock them down. Red herrings throw you off the scent entirely. This mental jujitsu exhausts your brain, forcing it into defensive, confused loops. Saad likens it to fighting shadows. You swing wildly, but the real problem slips by unnoticed. Here's the kicker. Once you spot these tricks, you strip them of their power. Logical awareness acts like kryptonite to idea pathogens. Saad's experience shows that students and thinkers who learn to identify fallacies expose the actual weak points in arguments, turning chaos back into clarity and reclaiming intellectual freedom. Finally, Saad offers a battle plan. Fighting parasitic minds isn't easy, but armed with reason and courage, victory is possible and critical. In 2018, Saad faced furious backlash for defending free speech on his YouTube channel, The Saad Truth. Threats flew, sponsors vanished, but he held firm. It wasn't just bravado. He knew freedom isn't handed down, it must be seized and protected aggressively and tirelessly. Without this fight, intellectual life decays and society follows into darkness. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but action despite it. Saad emphasizes that speaking up, whether in classrooms, online, or social circles, breaks the grip of dogma and encourages others to question. It's like lighting individual candles in a cave. Each flame pushes back the parasitic shadows inch by inch. At the heart of this crusade is empirical science, the relentless pursuit of facts through data, evidence, and reproducibility. Gad Saad reminds us that no emotional appeal or ideological dogma can withstand the cold light of science. It's your ultimate weapon against intellectual viruses, a beacon showing the path back to reason. Remember that university crowd, tense and uncertain? Now you see the battlefield inside, where idea pathogens and emotional weapons wage war on your mind. But here's the punch: you're not helpless. Next time you encounter a stifling idea or feel silenced, pause, ask yourself, am I dealing with truth or a parasite? Try naming one fallacy you catch today. That small act is your first strike back. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.